All right, squad, in this video, we're gonna quickly add the listing gallery. So let's jump in and have a look what it looks like. It's just basically this. We click view gallery. We're gonna get this we're gonna create a breadcrumb component here. And then we're gonna create a masonry grid like this to show the images. Pretty simple. So let's jump in. All right, so today we're gonna have a quick look at jumping into a listing and going into the gallery page here, which we have done nothing on yet. So we need to come up with some ideas for that, I think. Let's have a look at Bunker. We've got some pictures. So I think, what some of the other ones do, and it depends now how we want to use this, but if we just have a look at our DB model quickly for images, my Valentina crashed, so that's excellent. Lovely. Let's jump back in. How good. All right, so luxury stays. Let's go here. So we've got images model, and this is why it's good to use the has file instead of has many, because you can create the model with one file, and then here we can kind of control. So if we want to add a description or a title to this picture, we can. So it's quite flexible in that way, which I think is going to be useful here, because if you have a look at the big guys and how they're doing this, so Airbnb is a great one. We can have a look at some of the images. For instance, this is probably something similar. And when we click on it, we've got a gallery like this. So we could represent our gallery like this in a similar fashion, probably. This is a pop-up modal, I think, or maybe a page transition. But I like the idea of having the one page and then just like the pictures going through. We just have to figure out how to do the landscape versus the other ones. So this is a different one, photo tour, and then they've labeled them, right? So each area is quite interesting as another way to do it. I wonder if they support vertical, because it looks like most of these images are not. Oh, here's a vertical, which looks lame. Okay, but we can use I think it's called the Masonry Grid in CSS to do something here. So let's figure out what we can do here. So we're gonna need to have some sort of back button, back to the listing. So where we came from. So here, so maybe let's have a look. So let's jump into the gallery page. We're gonna go listings, and then we're gonna have gallery. And I did have a comment, someone watching, saying we could just have the images route, and you definitely could. So we could just have V1 images, and then basically, so it would be listings 1 images, and that would follow more of a kind of a RESTful pattern. And I don't know why I've chosen gallery, because I think it's just me was flopping through, but like realistically, this could actually just be images, right? So like, let's update that so that it makes more sense. Now, let's open up the routes. So we've got listings, and we're gonna go here. We're gonna say resources, gallery only, index, right? Not resources gallery, resources images. Okay, so now let's just quickly do a Rails routes and see what we've got here. Image. So we've got the V1 images route here. Now, it's because we're doing the member do, so I'm gonna pull it out of member do here. And then we should get listing images. Here we go. So we've got the V1 listing images path now. So let's update that in the listing itself. Now that is going to be so we're in the gallery component. So we're gonna go components, listing detail, gallery, component, and then we got a link. Where is the link? And it's on each image. I think we've got each image, we've got the link to it. Yep, so that's just going to the gallery. So we actually got the image label in there, but let's go. So we're gonna change this path here. Okay. Okay, yeah, we don't have a gallery listing path anymore, so we have to just find that. That's inside of the hero. So let's find that down here. Right. And then we just need to pass the listing through to this image gallery here, which hopefully we have the listing. We're not passing it through right now. So now we do have to pass the listing through. Okay. And then how was that even working prior? What did we have there? Let's just have a quick look. Luxury stays. we had gallery v1 listing path, but we weren't passing through a listing. So that, don't know how that was even working. Anyway, so let's go. So we need to pass through the listing here. So in the loop, we've got the listing here. So we can pass through a listing through here to this image. And then here we're gonna have an option of listing. Now, realistically, we probably don't need the image reference here because we're just using it for the, oh no, we do, we need it for here. So anyway, so that's good. And then we're just gonna pass listing through here and that should fix that. There we go. Now we got listing 7 images and in here we've got listing 7 images, image ID. Okay. So that's cool. So now we don't have an images controller. Now, this is where it gets interesting because we need to scope those images down. So do we send this? I think what we want to do is we want to send this still. So inside the listings controller, I think, where's the gallery that we had? Where's gallery, brother? Oh, this is the dashboard, it's in here, gallery. Okay, so I think we change this to images because in that way we can actually, we know the listing, we can set the listing. All right, so let's just route this. So you can see here, we're busy routing this here to images route. And the problem is, like, because it's polymorphic, and this is why I don't love doing this way, because an image doesn't belong to a listing, it belongs to a listing or a place. So we're really gonna have, you know, if you have the images index route, you're gonna have to check of the parent of the type to scope, and it just gets a bit messy. And that's why I'm thinking, well, it's nicer to just route this directly to the controller because then we know the listing. So to do that, we just need to route this resource to the right controller. So inside of our route to do that, all we need to do here is just go here, controller, and this is gonna be listings. Let's just see what that actually does to the routes. So it's not quite right because it's going to the listings index route. So it might even actually be easier to do get images and then and then go listings images. I think that's probably going to be the easiest way. So you can see this is a way of doing it if you want to kind of keep that restful naming. Okay, can't find a listing without an ID because now it's looking for, so now what we can probably just introduce is that member do, because what it's done is it's using listing ID here instead of ID. So if we do a member do here, we should be able to have it. Great. All right, now it's just saying we're missing a template. All right, so that's sweet. And that we know why that is because our one's called gallery. It needs to be called images. And we could route it literally straight to the image, the gallery page, but there we go, okay? So we're back to where we started and we're following more of a kind of RESTful resource naming there. Okay, so inside of there, we need to now get our images. So in our controller, listings controller, we got images here. So realistically, we have the listing. So we're gonna say image is equal to listing.images, yeah, .ordered. Let's see if we've got that on the model there, just to make sure that we do have that. Otherwise it's gonna crash. We do have ordered. Wonderful, images. Okay, so that's great. So now what we can do here is have a look at our components. And we've got listing detail. So really what we wanna have is a image gallery. See, this is why it's called images again. Image gallery component, which is the page. So, because we don't want to really create components for listing images and then also place images because they're really going to be the same thing, right? They're going to look exactly the same. So let's go image gallery. Let's call it a component image gallery, I think is the holder. And then from there we can create the image component. So let's go Rails G ViewComponent, and we're gonna go image gallery /image, because that's really what we're gonna need first. So we can smash that out there. And then if we go here, let's have a look. So we're going to have a content wrapper. So what do we have here? So we've got a content wrapper, not going to have a hero. We are going to have a nav. So we need some sort of nav, like a back to something, back button. So let's just chuck that in here as a quick link to, like yuck, but whatever. So we're going to say back to listing, and that will be the V1 listing path. Let's have a look. So we're going to go Rails routes, grep listing. What do we have? It's the V1 dashboard, V1 listing path. Yep, that was right. So we're going to go V1 listing path. And I think this is so we're going to get the listing here too. All right. Let's just see if that works. Back to listing. V1 listing images path. What have we changed that to now? With our new, it's images V1 listing. All right. It's because we changed that member do stuff. So let's just change this. So we're going to replace all of those to this. Redo. Yes. Go. Okay, cool. Here, back to listing. Boom. Okay, cool. So we got that. Looks disgusting, but we'll fix that. We'll grab the hero. So whatever the hero looks, and I think we should almost create where does this live? It's like the component. This is just a component deciding how you want to structure your stuff. But where does it actually live? Does it live inside of a listing layout? Yeah, it can live inside the listing layout. So let's create a new view component inside a listing layout. And we're going to call it, is it breadcrumb? Yeah, I guess it's breadcrumb nav. It's like once you go deeper, we can go back. So let's do that, see what happens. So in here now, we're going to basically, it's very simple component. It's just going to have a div for now. And what I want to do is I want to grab the hero from the listing detail. We got the size of this. The H is the H4. So grab that, chuck that in here like that. And this is going to be a class of flex w-full. Now, what we want to do is really just have a link to here. And let's grab that from our images controller, which is this guy. And we got listing, and then the class is underlined here to match that one. We also have to do an equals here. And then we also need to add the breadcrumb in now, right? Someone's playing with their dog outside, which is kind of annoying, but anyway. We're going to go component, and this is going to be listing layout / breadcrumb, right? And we also want to pass in the listing here. The reason I want to pull this into component is just because I know that if we do any other kind of pages that dig deeper, we want to be able to show this here, okay? Okay, so from there, we've got the listing passing through to the breadcrumb. We need to just add that as an option here, so it comes through. There, and then here we're going to just have listing, boom, like that. All right, let's see if that works. If we go in, back to listing. All right, now realistically, I don't like back to listing. I really wanted to say back to listing.title, yeah. Back to Bunker Byron, boom, okay, sweet. Now what we want to do here is create this gap as well. So if we have a look at the hero, it's got a margin Y. So if we go and grab that, and we add that to here. Now we go here, we got back to Bunker Byron. Realistically, you could put a little icon there, whatever, but let's keep moving. So we're gonna go images now. Now, deciding whether or not you go full width or like offset it like this, right? Like, so they've kind of centered it, so they've made it a little bit tighter, which is probably a good idea because our images will get too wide and then get a bit disgusting. So I'm just going to close off all these things here. So we've got the images, which is the breadcrumb, And then here we've got the gallery. So it's the listing image gallery component. So we're gonna go image gallery. Right, and then what we're gonna do here is we're just gonna pass in the images, right? So it's just gonna come in images. So the gallery just wants to take in images and that's all it cares about, right? So let's go here, option images. And here we're gonna go, it's gonna be a div, or let's go a section to be special because it's a section of things. And we are going to add a class here. And what we're gonna do quickly is just, we're gonna, yep. So I do need to create the image gallery component itself as well. Just, I'm busy creating it in the image, so that's not right. So image gallery, see we're passing images in here. Really an image just takes a single image. Images, and then we'll grab this content here, boom, that there. And then this will take a single image. Yeah. And this will just be div image for now. Okay. Sweet. So here we're going to loop through our images. So we're going to go images.each do image. Right. And then all we're going to do here for now is just spit out. We're going to go component, image gallery, image. I'm going to pass in the image. Yeah. Sick. All right. So now I'm trying to think of the class for the masonry. So please bear with me. But if we have a look here, we're now spitting out our images. So that's cool. But now we have to just also shrink this in a bit. So our content container or content wrapper is max 5XL. Okay. So max 5XL. So if we go to width, and we go 5XL, wait, that's not right. Max width, 5XL. That doesn't make any sense, Ken. 5XL, 1024 pixels wide. So I guess for me, I just want to quickly check. So that's quite a big picture. Maybe we could say 800 is probably the max that we want to support here. So let's go like to the neck. Maybe let's go like the 768. Let's go max width 3XL. Okay. So for our image gallery, we're going to go max width 3XL. Okay. Now we also need to decide how to set up. Now, do we want to do, if you want to do a masonry grid or if you want to run full width. So I think let's give a masonry grid a go. All right. So to do that, we just have to do pretty simple. I think it's just the columns, like setting the columns that we want to do and the gap. So now when we have a look here, it's going to set the columns for us. And it's basically, these are set to that width there right now, but we want to fix that. So I wonder why. So we've got 3. We probably don't want 3, probably max 2. I think always 2 columns, probably. Or we could even say 1 column and then medium up is 2. I think that's probably better. Now, what we also need to do, you can kind of see, let's put a BG on this guy so we can just see something. I hope that's probably not going to show up for everyone. So let's make that 500. So you can see there, let me zoom in again. So we're kind of not in the content all the way because obviously we're smaller, our max width is 3XL. Let's just go MX auto and just position that. Oh, not really. Width needs to be full. Okay, there we go. Sweet. So now you can kind of see that the images are in the middle of the page, not to the left or to the right. And realistically, I don't know like how I feel about this. I don't know how I feel about this whole kind of layout, but I mean, look, they've done a lot of UX on it. So anyway, that's cool. That'll do. We can get rid of that now. See you later, champ. Now this is all set. I don't know why the gap's not being applied, but it might be. So if we just have a look, let's go chuck here on a little image div. Let's call it an article as well. And here we're gonna go class, and let's chuck a BG on this run. BG gray 300. Just see what it's doing. Okay, so we need gaps between them as well. So that's interesting. So gap 2 is not applying between here. Okay, but anyway, so we got the image now. And now what we want to do is we want to actually render that image out. So let's go and have a look quickly at the hero, or even this guy, right? So we don't have an href, but we need this. And now what we also want to do is see how we have this if image file attached. We want to put that up here. So we, in the render block, only render if the image file is attached. Otherwise there's no point. Then we can check this away because we don't need it anymore. Variant. Now, this variant here, this resize to limit, let's see what this does. It's gonna do nothing. Oh no, it's doing something. There we go. It's doing a little masonry grid. So that's actually quite cool. I actually like that. Now, the only problem is that the quality might be too low. So let's bump this up to 600 by 600. There we go. A much better quality now. And that's really cool. So now we just got to figure out why the grid columns here isn't giving any gap. Okay, so it turns out the gap thing really only works on grid. But we want this columns thing. So we're going to use space Y2, but let's try just space 2 and see if that works. No. So you need space Y and you need the gap as well. There we go. Okay. So there we go. We've got our little masonry grid, which looks really cool. So this was actually not that complex of a page to build, but very simple, just a couple of key things. But I think that looks really nice. So if you now go back, so we could even like do this. I reckon what we should do here is this, in this like this breadcrumb, is jump into the hero and then copy this H, basically copy this. So where are you, Mr. Breadcrumb? In here. And close the div there. And then here we're going to grab this H4 and just chuck it under here. Mimicking that. And then what we're going to do here is not listing title, but we're just going to actually say gallery. There we go. Okay. Back. Check. Excellent. And there's actually pretty much 0 point for us passing through the image ID at this stage, unless you wanted to do some sort of highlight effect. But I think right now that actually works really well. So you can go to the loft. Did they have any? They've only got one image, sorry. Who else did we add images to? This guy, one. But that's really cool, all right? So that's very simple, right? So all we've done is added this masonry grid, which is quite simple in code, to this here, and then we're just looping through our images and just showing them and kind of constraining them to a 600 by 600 size, and we're getting that variant right there, and away we go. And that looks, I'm really happy with that actually. So you can view the gallery, you can click on here, and so there's actually 5 images here, and you can see we're limiting to 4 here. So that's really cool. So it's looking pretty good. Before I go, actually, I was thinking, let's just quickly add the same thing, because we're doing all the work. Let's add the same thing to the places, right? So we're going to go to routes. We're going to jump into places, and we're going to basically just copy this. Bang. And we're going to go to places images. Now we just have to rename. So we have to just go and do all our renaming. So if we go into places, we actually don't have that. So I'm just going to copy this whole thing and paste it in there. And we have got content wrapper, but then we've got listing. We are using the listing layout with the breadcrumb. So what we want to do now is, so the breadcrumb listing, and I have realized I made a mistake actually. So that's cool. And the images, but anyway, we'll keep moving. It's nice how your brain has those moments. So inside of the places controller, we're going to just copy this literally exactly. We're going to grab this. We're going to have images. And this is going to be place. and we're going to have before action set place for show and images. And that's all good. And now let's go and have a look. We're going to have a crash. So let's see if we can find a place. Do we have Gerringong? Here we go, gallery v1 place. So let's find that here. And this is now called, if we just quickly have a look inside of our routes, Rails routes, grep image. So images for v1 place, path, and we need to pass in the place. So this is living in the gallery component here, which we should have the place. We pass the place through here, place. And then we need to pass it through here. Exactly the same thing we did for the last time. We're just kind of speed run it. All right, now let's see. Okay, gallery. All right, unknown title for listing. So what I've done in the listing layout, because I thought, oh, well, the listing layout's just for listings, but it's not, we don't have a place layout. So we have to think here where there's a few things here. So we actually have to pass in the link, the backlink, and I guess the title, right? Because I mean, we could actually see. We've also hard coded this. Like I've hard coded this like a absolute nonk. So let's go. We're going to create a few things here. So we're going to refactor this. We're going to call this first one page title, right? So that's what we're going to have there, and we're going to render page title here. Luckily, I decided to do this bit. So we got page title, and then here we're going to have. I almost think this can be just the children for now, because then we can fully control it on the other end. We don't have to like pass in the string and then the thing. And if we want to add multiple, we can. So let's do that. So let's grab this, and this is now going to become the content for that. Now, if we have a look at this, we can actually get rid of listing now. So now if we go into our image gallery here, we're doing it inside of the images here. Listing layout breadcrumb, and then we're going to open this up and say do, and then close it with an end block. And in here we're going to, oh no, I lost my copy paste. That's devastating. Oh, cancel. Cut. And then I want to read, oh damn. So paste that in. And then here I'm going to just do the content again. Great. So link to listing, and then there. And now we control it from this side. So we actually have to go back. Let's just go back to listings. So into the gallery. Okay, so page titles required. So what we're going to do here is in the breadcrumb, so instead of listing, we got page title. Now this is obviously not the best breadcrumb component you could build, but it's good enough. So now we can say back to Bunker Byron. But now if we copy this guy and put it in here, right? Now we can say page titles gallery again, but this time it's going to be place title, and it's going to be v1 place path. Now you can see it's a bit more flexible, right? So if we now go back here and we go Gerringong, boom, search it in the gallery, there we go. Back to Gerringong, and there's our image. Sweet. We've just done it. So it took us speed run now because we built components and we can reuse them. It's very simple to do this. And it's as simple as that. Like, don't know, there's not much more we can do here. So that's looking great. So we've got galleries now on listings and places, and we just did it all in one hit. Awesome. All right, guys. See you next time.